do you see all of these peaches? So they may look like absolutely fantastic from the video image, but in all actuality, some of these are very small. And so we're not going to do the typical, you know, peel them, slice them, can them. What I'm going to be doing is making some peach jelly jam. It's kind of like a combination between the two, because what I do is I use a jam recipe, but I puree the fruit so that there are no chunks of fruit in the jelly. That is what we are making today, our peach jam-elly, maybe. And you can see here, it's not crystal clear like jelly is, but it's not chunky like jam is. It's still very pretty. And we have all the fruit in here instead of just the fruit juice. So sometimes I feel a little wasteful making a jelly. So I'm going to show you how we do this. This is a batch from a couple years ago. We're making the exact same thing today. Actually, I am on my 5th batch. This is my 5th batch. Jelly and jam are one of those things where combining batches doesn't work so well, and it is not recommended. So I've been doing them individually just to make sure I have good results. Here you can see some jars kind of cooling that have came out of the steam canner. We will be using the steam canner today, my new favorite canning apparatus. And I will tell you a little more about that. Now in my home, we just call this peach jelly. This is peach jelly to us, even though technically it's not jelly. So, but if I call it jelly, I do, I'm sorry. We don't call anything jam, even true jam. We just call it jelly. So you need the regular supplies. You need your canning jars, the sizes that you prefer. You need however you're going to can it. Steam canner, water bath canner. You need a large pot to actually concoct the jelly. You need another pan to heat up your jar lids. You need your jars warmed in the oven. Now, new rules in the canning world, newish rules, that you don't have to sanitize jars anymore as long as you are processing them for over 10 minutes. Now, this jam is typically a 10-minute processing time, but I just add a minute to the processing time to not have to sanitize my jars. So they're just warming in the oven. It saves a lot of time. I don't believe it impacts the quality of the finished product. You need 5.5 cups of sugar. You need regular original Sure Gel. This is the 1.75 ounce little box. You need lemon juice, bottled lemon juice, and this is just peach puree, okay? So kind of like baby food, I've just blended up peaches, and it's between 4 and 4.5 cups of peach puree, and you can see that it kind of oxidizes. So what I had done actually is pureed all of these peaches up last night, put them in the refrigerator in a couple big pitchers, and now today I'm making the jam, and that's just fine. It oxidized a little on the top. You could skim that off, you can stir it in, it's not a big deal. You need 1/2 teaspoon of butter, which is right there waiting for us. And then you need the other regular canning things. You need your jar lifter, your lid lifter, your rings, your funnel. These are from the previous batch, which will go with our very last batch here into the steam canner. So let's get started. First things first, all the peach puree is going to go into this pot, as well as our lemon and our butter and our pectin or Sure Gel. Okay, so here is the last tablespoon of lemon juice going in. So again, this is 1/2 teaspoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice right there, and that's our box of pectin. We're going to set the burner to medium high, and we're going to just stir all this in and get it boiling till it's still boiling when we are stirring. And we don't have to stir this continually. We do need to make sure it's all incorporated. But for this particular phase, we don't have to stir continually. Once we add the sugar, we will want to stir continually, really keep an eye on it. So I will have all of the ingredient quantities in the description of the video. For the actual instructions, you'll need to watch the video. And I'll bring you back when this is boiling. If you've never canned before, or maybe specifically jelly and jam, it goes really quick. So it's good to have your ingredients ready. So I already have my sugar here. It's ready. That's going to be what goes in next. My jars are already heated in the oven. They'll be ready for me to fill just as quick as I need to. My jar lids, I need to add a couple more here, and I'll get them boiling to soften the seals. Aren't these the coolest? So my grandmother gave me her canning things, her canning jars, and she gave me these. I've already used a few. They're absolutely beautiful. Look at them. Aren't they gorgeous? And in the second steam canner batch here, and in my oven warming are some beautiful vintage jelly jars that I got at the Goodwill. Let me show you. They're still in their original boxes. I don't know how old these are. They're old, but they're beautiful. And so I cleaned them all up. I needed some more jars, some larger jelly jars. For my family, it's best to do larger jelly jars. I do some smaller ones to give away and just for like little bits. But these were $8 a box. I think they were both, are they both $8? I think so. I don't know, that one doesn't have a tag, but so cool, right? And look, here's the old Kmart label. I can't quite read it. I would love to know what they cost back then. There were also 2 freezer jars in there, which I've never used these, but I'll show you those when they come out. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. Okay, we are boiling now, but when I stir, the boiling stops. So we're looking for a more consistent boil. Well, while we're waiting on that, I want to talk to you about the steam canner. So I have a video all about steam canning and how fantastic I think it is. And I'm still standing behind that. So you may want to watch that video if you haven't heard about steam canning. But let me just tell you my personal favorite things about it that I think make it so phenomenal. First of all, you're not dealing with a whole big pot of water, right? Water is only in here till about here. So it's just like 2 inches, 1.5 inches of water, hot boiling water. You're never lifting a huge kettle of boiling water. You're not submerging jars down into a boiling vessel of water. It's fantastic. Once you get it up to temperature, so this is the little dial on top, and this green area is where you start timing when you get to that with the steam canner. So once you get to that, you just want to stay in that green area about where you are, and you can drop your temperature. I'm able to drop mine down to low. Now I am using my ultra heat, so it does, maybe if I wasn't using my ultra heat, I wouldn't be able to drop it to low, but I'm able to drop it to low. So I can't do that with my water bath canner. So I'm saving resources, electricity, energy. I don't have quite as much, you know, hot boiling water going on. And the last favorite thing that I have about this is that it's quicker. I get up to temperature quicker, I'm boiling quicker, or steaming, you know, I'm in the green area quicker, and I am able to just process a lot faster. So I love it, love it, love it, love it. I bought mine off of Amazon. I haven't seen them sold locally yet for me, and I've had this a couple years now. So it hasn't really caught on yet, but oh my goodness, does it ever improve canning. All right, we're gonna put the sugar in. Here it goes. It's a lot of sugar. And I'm like pouring in slow-mo, so that doesn't help. Okay, 5.5 cups. And I'm going to start stirring that, but also turn my burner on back here with my jar lids. And I need to throw a couple more in back there. I only have 2. And this is just to soften the seals. These are the jar lids are going to sanitize as well in the steam canner with everything else. You see these big lumps of sugar, they'll break down, but you do just have to stir this a little more consistently. We're gonna put in these, I even got the box, they're so cool. They're probably worth money, but they're so beautiful. I'm using them. Oh my goodness, I just love them. Oh, Ball, why don't you make more of these? I'm actually buying my my canning lids in bulk now, and I don't always use name brand, but these were given, so we're gonna use those. All right, let's get this stirring. Wonder if we could find a year on that box. We're just gonna keep stirring this, getting this all incorporated in. I found a date, 1975. Oh my goodness, these are older than me. And I was able to peel this off. I guess my grandma maybe picked them up at a yard sale or something. They were 84 cents at Walmart. You know, I feel like that's pretty pricey for 1975. I feel like canning lids are pretty pricey now. I'm surprised they were that much. But anyways, that's what they were. So there you go, a little canning history. Not boiling yet. And you can see, but we are getting a little more translucent. You can see a couple itty bitty little pieces of peach that didn't get pureed up. That's okay. It's still primarily smooth. Our lids are boiling, so that's good. We want them to boil a couple minutes. Okay, we are now boiling. That when we stir, it does not stop boiling. This is good. So we need to let this go for a minute, just stirring it, stirring it, stirring it. And then we're going to turn off our heat, and we're going to pull out our jars from the oven. So here's my jars out of the oven. I'm just gonna move them over to my little filling station. Can you see? Maybe it'll be better to see once they're full. Strawberries and grapes, and they're just beautiful jars. Okay. Now what I have back here are jars I just took out of the steam canner. We're going to do my final batch in that steam canner today. I have more jars ready here than I think I'm going to need. I also have a little one in case, just in case. I have just a little bit left. I've got a ladle here. Now I've got a little bit from my previous batch that we're going to top off. Now, if you're doing extra batches or additional batches, you can, you know, as long as it's relatively close, you can just fill that jar back up, you know, if you had a little excess. If it's like the very end and you're done for the day, well then you can just put it in a jar or a bowl or whatever, and put it in the refrigerator and use it. Oh. And I try to make as little mess as possible because this is sticky, but it happens. So we're going for around between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch headspace. I like to have a 1/4 inch because I get more product in. However, sometimes I make more mess, so I don't know, maybe it's you just do what works best for you. And I'm gonna get these all filled up. It may seem kind of runny to you at this particular moment, but it is actually gelling up. You can kind of see on my ladle, My ladle will cool off in between scooping. So it will set up the rest of the way. Okay, so now I have a toddler pushing a stool around on the floor, but I just have a paper towel with some warm, really mild soapy water, and I'm just cleaning off the rims. I do have a partial. Just want to make sure that you can get a good seal. I hear you. Here's my partial. We are just gonna not put a canning lid on that. We're just gonna put a plastic lid on that and just put it in the fridge and use it. And these others here, these 5, we are gonna put jar lids on. So I'm just gonna grab them out of the water, place the lid on. This is my technique. I don't know how other people do it. Put the lid over the top, twist it on there, and you want it finger tight. Don't want it like super tight. And I'm gonna do all those up. I have a couple extra jars at the ready. It's always good to have a few extras. Extras are good. Being short a jar when you're in the middle of, loading up your product is not good. All right, let's get these in the steam canner. You can see I've got 2 from my previous batch. We're just gonna place them all in here. Super easy. And we're gonna distribute them around. So like if there were 4, I would kind of distribute them, but I'm actually gonna have more than 4. Ta-da! Look at that. Okay, now we put the lid on. Easy peasy. Just like so. Make sure it's resting down in there. Good. I like to make sure the little steam spout is facing back. You see that little? I like to make sure it's facing back so that my exhaust fan is more likely to pull it up. We're going to put it on high. And then we are going to watch for it to get into the green bar, the top green bar, because I'm in zone 1. So I leave it on high till it gets to the top green bar, and then we will turn the temp down. Also, when it gets to the green, we're going to start the timer. As I mentioned, since I did not sanitize my jars, I am doing 11 minutes processing time. If you sanitized your jars, you could do a 10-minute processing time. So it's your call on that, but I just find that a little bit easier personally. So this little bit of extra peach jelly here, I'm just going to put one of these lids on. So this is what I was talking to you about. Ball makes their own little lids. I mean, you may already know this if you're into canning. Maybe you don't. You can also get ones on Amazon. I got these. And some people are super handy and really think ahead. And when they have jars of things at home, they keep the ones that will fit, like traditional jars. And this will fit a wide mouth jar. And so you can use this. So that's another thing you can do. Test your plastic lids and see. That's a great way to save money. I'm just going to use this little one. I think these are wide mouth as well. And just twist it on. I mean, you're not sealing it, so it's just to keep it closed. So these are great to use anytime you open a jar or something. So I don't know if you can see, but we're creeping up here. Won't be too much longer and we will be in the green. Okay, now it's getting steamy. It's hard to see, but we are in the green now, the very top, right there. We're at the green. So now I'm going to set the timer, 11 minutes. I'm gonna drop my temperature down. Now you have to, calibrate for yourself and see, how this all works with your stove. Okay, and now we're just I'm gonna peek at it periodically, make sure we're staying at our green spot. Otherwise, we just let the 11 minutes go. We're a few minutes in, 3 or 4, and we are still in the green. So we're doing good. Time's up. We're gonna turn this off. Now you need to wait 5 minutes before you open the steam canner, just to help with the steam, you know, and the temperatures. I'm just gonna set it for 5 minutes. We'll come back and open it whenever that goes off. All right, they're done. We're gonna open this and just kind of vent it away from us. Ta-da! I heard it. Oh, I hear more pops. Pop, pop, pop. Okay. And now I'm just gonna move them to the cooling area. We want to leave these undisturbed for 24 hours or until they're totally cool. We want a little area between the jars so they can circulate, so the air can circulate. It just helps with cooling down. And then at the end of the 24 hours, you could take the rings off and check your seals, wipe off the jars if they have any residue, and maybe at that point you would like to put a label on, or I always just write on the lid with a Sharpie what we're dealing with. You can see this one's boiling. Do you see that? It's hot. And then I'm gonna put the lid back on my steam canner, and once it cools down, I'll handle the water. And there's just a little bit of water. Here we go. Hope you enjoyed this video for my Peach Jam-elly, or jelly jam, or I don't know. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Keep your eye out because there will be another video coming out very soon with the rest of those peaches, which are still ripening over there. These are all over here ripening a little more. They're not ripe yet. We don't want to do anything with them until they are ripe. Now this one right here is rotten. So we will give that to the chickens. But we don't want to do anything with them until they're ripe, because that's when they're going to have the best flavor. And that's what we want to preserve, that homegrown, ripe, peak ripeness flavor. But anyways, since these are so small, at least the majority of them are, definitely the small ones, we're going to use the steam juicer, and we're going to make a peach juice concentrate that I will then can, and we will put it away to have peach juice with throughout the winter and future seasons to come. So stay tuned if that interests you, and thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. I'll talk to you soon.